If you give a sports team a colossal amount of money in sponsorships, they'll slap your name everywhere, right down to the toilet paper you'll find in their stadiums. Steelers aren't any different. As the cat is out of the bag, we know Heinz isn't paying any money to Steelers anymore. Now, the stadium is picking up the ketchup bottles to rebrand itself to ACRISURE Stadium, and the fans hate it. Let's get started. First of all, let's answer a billion-dollar question. What even is ACRISURE? It's a beautiful evening in Pittsburgh. The crowd is buzzing with electric energy, and welcome to the home of the Steelers, the ACRISURE Stadium. Okay, don't hate on us. We're just the messenger of this chaotic situation. Here's a pro tip, though. If your only reason to tune into the NFL on game night are the Steelers, then we'll recommend getting accustomed to the name ACRISURE. As of now, the Steelers have a 15-year contract with the ACRISURE company, and oh boy, it's not any regular bottle of ketchup. So, what is ACRISURE? Honestly, don't blame yourself if you haven't even heard of their name. First off, they aren't Heinz. There's an almost non-existent chance for you to encounter the ACRISURE name in your local grocery store, and they don't produce anything that can be enjoyed with your burger on a Sunday barbecue. ACRISURE is a financial tech company that has a huge global footprint in driving artificial intelligence-based solutions. Basically, for every sector that requires digitalization, ACRISURE gives them the technology to use AI to boost their sales or manage their business. Maybe your insurance company is ACRISURE's client, or maybe your real estate agency is paying them a considerable amount of money to keep up with their business. The company has its hands in a lot of pots, so if anything, the Steelers aren't going bankrupt anytime soon. ACRISURE boasts its revenue in billions. They aren't Heinz, but they're no minor league either. The Steelers execs have reported that ACRISURE's owner, Greg Williams, is looking forward to bringing more money to the team through their lucrative clients. In addition to that, Williams is also interested in funding community-based projects in the Pittsburgh localities. Yet, foremost, ACRISURE wants to give an incredible season through the cash influx they're bringing in. For ACRISURE's Greg Williams, partnering up with the Steelers isn't just a business move. In fact, Williams is a lifelong Steelers fan. That makes Williams a committed sponsor in more ways than one. Not only is his money on the line, but his love for the team is equally important. Go Steelers! Coming up next, why are Steelers fans ruthlessly trolling the name of their home turf? Alright, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. It's odd to call Heinz Stadium anything other than Heinz Stadium. ACRISURE Stadium just doesn't roll off the tongue, now does it? Since 2001, we've accepted Steelers branding in the name of a ketchup bottle. It took us time to come to terms with Heinz, but we made it. The year 2022 is bringing many changes to the Steelers. After losing Ben Roethlisberger in January, the field's change in name is another blow we didn't see coming. No sugarcoating here. Steeler Nation hates the name ACRISURE Stadium. As soon as Art Rooney's statement of ACRISURE acquisition became public, the fans surged in with a very common sentiment: bring Heinz back. Popular fan groups have already made collective agreements to never call their field by its new name. For them, it's still Heinz Field. Many fans complained that the name ACRISURE sounds too corporate and doesn't have the same homey feeling as Heinz does. This is not surprising. Heinz is a Pittsburgh/Pennsylvania royalty. Okay, maybe the ketchup bottles don't look as classy as a Red Bull can on a Formula One track, but hey, nothing speaks closer to home than embracing Heinz. Local businesses aren't happy either. Lucky for them, the ACRISURE name also brought them some money-making ventures. The Pittsburgh clothing company barely took a second to release a t-shirt that says, "It's still Heinz Field to me." We know the new name has left the fans in a frenzy because the t-shirts are selling like hotcakes. So, what are the fans saying? Fans took to Twitter to cite ACRISURE as the worst venue name for any stadium ever. One Steelers fan even declared that they'd rather go 6 feet under before calling their home field by its new name. A fan even joked that the rules of the English language have now changed, and they'll be pronouncing ACRISURE as Heinz. Honestly, we can't help but agree with this assessment. If there was a meme contest on the newest Steelers crisis, we're sure that the fans who called ACRISURE Insurance the Hunt's tomato ketchup of NFL will take the prize. Nothing like a strong meme game to bring the Steeler Nation together. And we know the fans don't hold back, ever. One diehard Steeler fan believes that the name ACRISURE sounds like a yeast infection medication. Now, when we think about it, that fits a lot better. ACRISURE doesn't even work for an insurance company, let alone a legendary stadium. Now, let's talk about why ACRISURE's origins are making fans more upset. There's no denying that the Steelers have relied on local businesses and companies to drive their marketing strategies. In many ways, Pittsburgh football team is a local and homegrown affair. Heinz bought the sponsorship rights for the team even before they started to operate in the area, so it makes sense that fans are upset that ACRISURE is an outsider. As soon as the fans realized that ACRISURE is a Michigan-based company, the opposition to the name change doubled instantly. Giving up a local royalty to welcome a Michigan tech company isn't as seamless as the Steelers wanted it to be. For a For a team that is the city's biggest asset, acquiring ACRISURE is a PR disaster. In a statement, Heinz announced the end of their partnership with the local team, but it also reminded the fans that their connection is built on something that's more than sports. They share the same home in Pittsburgh. That is a privilege that ACRISURE doesn't have, and the fans aren't happy. Up next, Steelers have created a PR crisis for themselves. Trust the Steelers to make their fans and supporters upset when you were just out there making some money moves. It's time that the Steelers executives realize that for a community-based team like theirs, community support is everything. And if the branding doesn't resonate with the fans in Pennsylvania and across the globe, there is a looming PR crisis. Here's the thing. Sports teams rely on their branding to create financial ventures for their teams. Now, that could be in a number of ways. The most common venture that relies on the teams and the stadium's branding is the merch or accessories lines. And the Steeler Nation has made it quite clear that they aren't buying anything with the name ACRISURE on it. On top of that, fans are straight up refusing to call their home field the ACRISURE Stadium. This sort of community backlash won't do much for ACRISURE, especially when they're looking forward to expanding their businesses in the Pittsburgh area. The company might offer some top-notch insurance services, but now they've unironically picked up beef with their customers. Pretty sure the company didn't anticipate the loyalty that Pittsburgh has for its local traditions and names. And of course, going to the Heinz Field and taking a picture with the massive ketchup bottles is very much a Pittsburgh tradition. We aren't open to criticism on this particular take. Thank you very much. Sports teams rebrand themselves all the time, but the emotional response that Steelers have stirred up is off the charts. Fans are calling the Steelers' decision to change their field's name the worst thing that has ever happened to Heinz Field since Bane. Classic The Dark Knight Rises reference. As hilarious as the memes are, it's not hard to gauge fans' disappointment either. You know the Steelers messed it up when the fans are willing to call their field Art Rooney Stadium as opposed to ACRISURE Stadium. We don't mean to take away the silver lining from your clouds, but reacquiring Heinz naming rights for the stadium isn't on Art Rooney's to-do list. In the world of sports, money speaks louder than fans' complaints. So, how much money is ACRISURE bringing to the Pittsburgh team? Just like you, we're also riding on the barricade that ACRISURE will bring more money to the team. After all, they made a $10 million bid for the naming rights of the Steelers' home. Right off the bat, that's significantly more than what Heinz ever paid the Steelers. There's no official figure, but the leaks around the negotiations between Heinz and Steelers revealed something rather shocking. Against ACRISURE's $10 million, Heinz only took a slight dent of $2.38 million. Yep, the difference is massive, and ACRISURE is set to bring more money that it can justify through financial statements. It's evident that the Steelers immediately settled for a surplus of almost $7 million to maintain the aesthetic of their stadium. Heinz turf wasn't exactly in bad shape, but in a competitive sports league like the NFL, keeping up with stadium maintenance and technological upgrade is a recurring game. It makes sense for the Pittsburgh team to make financially sound decisions, especially if they're looking to make a run down to the championships. It's been a long time since the 2008 Super Bowl victory. To be fair to Art Rooney, he did try to retain Heinz for their 21st year too, but the money talks never worked out. That's a wrap for this video. We'll see you in the next one.